Everyone wants to make business complex. Let me tell you, I didn't make it complex. I had to go, man, what am I going to do to build these businesses? What's the secret sauce? What's the ingredient? It may be different for a lot of different people, but I'm going to tell you what it was for me. So first and foremost, I want to tell you, as a young person, and let's just say a baby, like 1 year old, you protect yourself. We are wired and designed to protect ourselves, right? So we ultimately stay away from this guy. So if there's a hitchhiker on the side of the road that has a sign that he wants to go anywhere, blood all over his shirt, and he's got a chainsaw, we know innately to not stop and pick that guy up, right? Now, some of you may be like, oh, I'm a missionary, I'm gonna get him. Oh, that's great. I'm driving past him, right? But we learn that we have to be a little bit judgmental. We have to have discernment. And I've got to tell you, in most cases in your life, that protection mode that we have saves our lives. And it's good. But the problem is, it puts us in a position to where we use that skill set far beyond just where we need to. And we become judgmental, right? And we judge people quickly, and we don't look at people with soft eyes. And so I got to tell you, as I operated these businesses, and today as I get to do what I do, I operate with a lens of love. A lens of love is, I'm 27, 28 years old, I'm building my businesses, and I go into a customer's office to try to sell him products, and he said, hey, your products suck, I don't like this, get out of here. I left. He kicked me out of his office. I go to another customer who I'll never forget in my life, a gentleman by the name of Jim Weitzel that ran the most successful, #1 largest car dealership on earth. And I went in to talk to him about my products and service. And let me just tell you, I wasn't refined, I wasn't defined, I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I was passionate and I had something that I wanted to sell, right? And I went and sat in front of Jim Weitzel and I didn't know what I was doing. And Jim loved me. He treated me with love, he treated me with respect, he treated me with dignity, and it was really, really amazing. And it was transformative for my life. And it allowed me to build my first company, which turned into me building 10 companies. Just one guy, one customer changed my life because he loved me, while everybody else was really tough. Now, here's full circle. When the acquisition happened with Berkshire Hathaway, I got elevated to a new position in this organizational structure that ended up where I was Jim Weitzel's new boss. I was his supervisor, right? He had a pretty good friend in me, huh? Served us both well. But ultimately, the message here is that Jim treated me with a lens of love. He wasn't quick to judge. He wasn't quick to say, hey, your product's not great. He was quick to say, hey, let me help you make this awesome. Let me help you make this awesome. And I've got to tell you, I've never met anybody in my life that I've truly gotten to know their heart and I've truly gotten to know their story and I didn't fall in love with them. It doesn't matter what their background is. It doesn't matter what's going on, man. If you can get their heart and you can understand their story, you're going to love them, right? So this is really big. So the next one I want to tell you about is speaking with the language of love. We've got operating with the lens of love. Now we got to speak with the language of love. It's not about mantras. It's not about mission statements. It's not about banners on the wall. It's how you really operate. It's what you really do. So I'm on the phone with one of my world-class executives, a guy named Tom Finnan, who I love. And I'm talking to Tom, and he's telling me how the day's going. He's telling me how sales are. He's just going on, and we're having this great conversation. The conversation's about to end. And I said, all right, Tom, have a good day, man. I love you. And I hung up. And I said, oh, shit, I just told that guy I loved him. And what do you do? You can't pick the phone up and call the guy back and go, hey, I don't love you. I'm like, oh. So what did I do? I love Tom. And I told him accidentally that I loved him. And I was like, man, you know what? I've got to tell people I love them when I love them. Now, let me just tell you something. If you hear all this stuff about love, if you don't love somebody, please don't tell them you love them. That's just going to create some weird situations, right? And I'm not talking, hey, bro, I love you, man, or yeah, I love you. I mean, I love you. I love you. John Maxwell got off this stage yesterday afternoon, right? Yesterday morning, he presented. I don't know if y'all noticed because everybody was kind of clapping, but John said, I love you, and he walked off this stage. He said that, and I love that, man. So it wasn't about just operating from a lens of love. It was also the idea of telling people you love them and having a language of love, right? Now, let me just tell you, I am capable of dropping some great F-bombs. And I am really capable of having some tough conversations. I do it, I promise you. I've got a gentleman here that's on my team named Nate May. Nate is a stud, but I can tell you, Nate is, he's like, man, you don't always tell me you love me, right? But I got to tell you, that's my passion. My passion, I don't hold back. When I love someone, I want them to know I love them. And I want to love people. I want to love people. So I encourage you to love people. My leadership and what I built in the businesses was all predicated from love. Again, it wasn't some sophisticated algorithm. It wasn't some sophisticated financial process. It wasn't some sophisticated business model. It was simply loving people. Because Jim loved me, right? But let me tell you a business story. So here I am in my early 30s. My companies are now Berkshire Hathaway owned companies. I have a new job within a Berkshire Hathaway organization. I'm an executive with 11,000 employees and $11 billion in revenue. And I have no idea how to operate this company. I am faking it, right? Like I'm thinking back to McDonald's. I'm like, oh my goodness. So here I am, and I'm like, how am I going to be transformative in this business? I'm used to building my companies, which had a few hundred employees, and now I have this massive empire that my job is to influence and impact. So I have this bright idea that I'm going to start a professional development and training department within this organization that has 11,000 people. And we're not going to send memos out that tell people what policies and procedures are. We're going to train and develop people and certify them, right? They're going to get points on the board for having knowledge and information that they ultimately can use to be successful. And I will tell you, and I'll fast forward because I don't have a lot of time, but I will tell you today, Berkshire Hathaway Automotive still carries the entire professional development program that I had the privilege to build. Building legacies within your business is huge. So think about what your legacy strategy is in your business, outside of your business. It's such a big opportunity. So, as I wrap up, I just want to tell you that it's not about you. It's about I love you. It really is. It's about professionally developing and personally developing other people. It's about being a catalyst, being a vessel, being a vehicle for everything that you're loving to learn, that you're reading in books, that you're listening to on podcasts, and you're applauding for on the stage, taking that information back and multiplying it. That's the greatest exponential growth you're ever going to have in your career, is taking this knowledge and information and sharing it with others. I hope when you leave here tonight that you don't go back and look at your tired notebook and just for yourself, but share what you're learning with other people. I promise you, it is absolutely the winning strategy to scaling a business, to growing a business, to driving profitability, to getting margin expansion, to getting more customers, to having an amazing exit if you're talking about business. But if you're talking about in your life, it's no different. It's no different. It's how you build amazing relationships with your friends and your family. Be the one that gives them the book. Be the one that shares your notes. Be a catalyst and a vehicle for people's growth, and I'm telling you, it's going to work.